are the unthinkable. A prince without a title, Prince Harry, a name known worldwide, always linked with royalty, with duty. Now a question hangs heavy. Could he lose his royal style, his coveted HRH, his ducal rank? Just Harry? A stark thought. The unthinkable is now whispered.
He's deep down in that burrow, isn't he? It's sort of hard to retrieve yourself out of that.
Well, that interview sparked widespread backlash, with a new poll revealing a majority of Brits want to see Harry stripped of his HRH title. For more, we're joined by royal expert.
All right, well, the rift in the royal family is once again in the spotlight, with Prince Harry airing his grievances to the world after losing a security battle.
I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point.
Meghan Markle has been very brazen recently with the use of the HRH. Now, royal fans will know in 2020, during the negotiations for Harry and Meghan to leave royal duties, it was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it. Basically, the HRH is only given to working women.
It's no longer just family drama. It's no longer whispers, headlines, or blurry paparazzi shots. What's unfolding now is nothing short of a constitutional reckoning for Prince Harry, and the news coming out of London is shaking the very foundation of the British monarchy. After years of interviews, memoirs, and public criticism, the establishment is striking back. And this time, they're not bluffing. King Charles, with the legal machinery of the House of Lords behind him, is moving forward with a motion that could strip Harry of all his remaining royal titles and privileges. Yes, you heard that right. Every single one. This isn't a family squabble anymore. It's not about Meghan's podcast or Harry's Netflix deals or who got snubbed at which coronation. This is formal. This is legal. And this is serious. The House of Lords has begun the process of introducing a motion that, if passed, would officially remove Harry's titles. No more Duke of Sussex, no more HRH styling, and no more grace and favor royal perks that still linger in the background of his California life.
It has become a real possibility, a prince potentially stripped bare, the ultimate royal rebuke. The idea itself sends shivers down the spines of traditionalists, and perhaps even modernists too. Titles are more than names, they are symbols, they represent history, they signify belonging or estrangement. For Harry, this is personal, it is also deeply symbolic. A public reckoning approaches, the end of an era for him. This is not a minor squabble, it is a fundamental crisis, one of identity. For Harry, for the monarchy, he chose a different path, a path away from the throne, away from the gilded cage. But the institution has long arms, it has ancient rules and new pressures.
And let's be clear, this isn't just symbolic. This isn't some tabloid tantrum or a headline grab. This is the establishment's final word. The same establishment that Harry has called out, written about, and essentially waged war against in every major media format available. Books, interviews, documentaries, you name it, Harry has used it to talk about the pain he says the crown caused him and his wife. But now, the crown is responding. Quietly, powerfully, and in the most British way possible, through legislation. Inside sources say King Charles didn't push this lightly. For all the drama we've seen play out publicly, the king has always kept the door just slightly open. He wanted peace. He wanted a path forward. But after the release of Spare, the tell-all book that painted the family in an unflattering light, and after more than a few media moments where Harry seemed to take a swing at every member of the firm, patience has finally run out. And let's not pretend this was a solo decision. The House of Lords doesn't just act on gossip. The motion is being supported by some very serious political and aristocratic players who believe that Harry has crossed every line of tradition and duty. They're framing this not just as punishment, but as preservation. Preservation of the monarchy's dignity. Preservation of the country's centuries-old constitutional values. And yes, preservation of the royal family's image in the eyes of the world. Harry, of course, is reportedly livid. Behind closed doors, sources close to him say he's furious. Not because he's surprised, but because he believes this is retaliation. He sees it as the monarchy turning its back on him completely, punishing him for speaking his truth. But here's the thing. You don't get to throw stones at the palace and then act shocked when the windows close. Harry chose to step away. He chose the freedom, the independence, and the commercial deals. But you can't have it both ways. You can't criticize the institution and still keep the titles that come from it. At least, not anymore. What does this mean for Meghan? For now, her name isn't directly on the motion, but if the titles go, the ripple effect is unavoidable. The Duchess of Sussex title, which she still uses, may no longer hold weight in any official sense. And while the Sussexes have built their brand around authenticity and activism, there's no denying that the royal titles gave their platform an instant global boost. Now, with this looming legislation, the fairy tale dust might finally settle. And what remains is a couple that will have to stand purely on their work and their voices, not on inherited names or institutional legacy. The public reaction has been mixed. Some are cheering, saying it's long overdue. They see Harry as someone who walked away and kept taking shots from the outside, all while still cashing in on his royal past. Others are more sympathetic, arguing that this is yet another example of the monarchy being unable to evolve and embrace criticism. But the decision, when it comes, won't be based on popularity. It will be based on power, and right now, that power still sits with the crown. This moment marks a turning point. We've never seen a member of the royal family, born so close to the throne, being stripped like this. It's historic, and it sends a clear message to anyone who thinks the monarchy won't defend itself when pushed too far. Will Harry fight back? Will he challenge the motion or take the issue to court? That remains to be seen. But what's clear is that this isn't going away. The wheels are in motion, and once the House of Lords steps in, the outcome is more than just a family decision. It becomes a matter of national governance.
King Charles III, his own father, now sits on the throne. He faces an agonizing choice, a choice about his younger son, the son who stepped away, the son who spoke out. The weight of the crown is immense. So is the weight of fatherhood. Tradition pulls one way, perhaps personal feelings another. The House of Lords has stirred. Ancient chambers buzz with talk. Formal motions are discussed. Debates echo through Parliament, not just about one man, but about the monarchy's image, its integrity, its future. Can titles be used against it? This is the pressing question. The peers demand clarity, action. This is a formal process, not mere courtly gossip. Legal minds are consulted. Constitutional experts deliberate. The mechanisms are old, but they can be invoked. A stripping of titles is rare, extremely rare, almost unheard of, yet here we are.
There's still a bit of time before the motion becomes law, but insiders are saying the palace is quietly confident. King Charles, often seen as cautious and diplomatic, has finally taken a bold stand. For better or worse, he's showing the world that he will protect the monarchy, even if it means drawing a firm line with his own son. So here we are. The man once known as Prince Harry, the beloved royal who walked behind his mother's coffin and grew up under the world's watchful eye, may soon be prince no more. Not by choice this time, but by law. This is the real consequence of choosing freedom over formality, truth over tradition. And love him or hate him, Harry's about to face the kind of royal reality that no podcast, book deal, or American talk show can rewrite. The crown has spoken. Now we wait. And behind palace gates and Montecito walls, Prince Harry is reportedly livid, furious. The man who turned his back on the monarchy, called it toxic, racist, cold, and cruel, is now panicking as Britain finally begins the process of cutting him off, not just emotionally, but legally. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't a Twitter campaign. This isn't a changed org petition started by a royal watcher in Surrey. This is a formal parliamentary discussion being tabled in the upper chamber of the UK Parliament, where lords, hereditary and life peers, hold the power to pressure the crown and government into action. This is the serious side of monarchy. It's tradition, law, and politics blending into one cold, calculated move. And Harry, he's caught in the middle of it. You can call it karma, you can call it consequence, but what you can't call it anymore is drama. This is governance. The lords aren't reacting to gossip. They're responding to what they see as betrayal. A prince born into duty, who traded it for talk shows and book deals, who called out his own bloodline in front of the world, is now about to face the weight of the institution he left behind. We're talking about a real possibility of legislation that removes every trace of royal association from Harry. No more Duke of Sussex. No more HRH. No more privilege by name. The only titles left will be the ones on his book covers. And sources say the motion has gained traction. Quiet support is growing. And with King Charles not standing in the way, the message is loud and clear. Enough is enough. Now here's where it really hits: the image.
The brand.
Without the titles, what's left? This isn't just about whether or not Harry gets to wear a medal to a coronation. This is about brand equity. The Sussex name has weight because of its royal root. Strip that away, and the glossy sheen starts to fade. Hollywood might still pick up the phone, but the monarchy won't. And don't think for a second this stops with Harry. Meghan might not be directly named in the motion, but she's attached to the title too. The Duchess of Sussex brand hangs in the balance. If Parliament removes the titles, the next wave of public and media pressure will come for her association as well. People inside Buckingham Palace say King Charles wrestled with this for months. He wanted to be a father, but now he has to be a king. And a king doesn't bend to threats, tell-alls, or Netflix narratives. A king protects the throne. Some close to Harry argue that this is vindictive, that it's the institution trying to silence and erase him. But here's the other side. Actions have consequences. When you tell the world your family is racist and emotionally abusive, when you cash in on royal trauma, when you call the very institution that raised you a machine, you don't get to keep the badge while burning the uniform. The royal family has always played the long game. They've watched, waited, and let Harry speak. But now they're speaking back, not in an interview, not in a podcast, but in Parliament. And this move, it has teeth. Once a royal title is stripped by law, there's no way back. Not without a major reversal by both government and monarch. In other words, it's permanent. So, where does Harry go from here? If the motion passes, he'll be just Harry. No duke. No royal rank. Just a man with a story, a podcast, and a growing distance from the world he once called home. Whether you believe he was right to walk away, or you think he's betrayed the crown, one thing is clear. The United Kingdom is taking its monarchy seriously again. And if you cross the system will respond. Legally, publicly, and without hesitation. This isn't personal anymore. It's precedent. The crown is drawing a line in the sand. And Prince Harry is standing on the wrong side of it.
The British public watches intently. Opinions are sharply divided. There is no easy consensus. Some see Harry as a rebel, a man who turned his back on family, on duty, on nation. They feel he has forfeited his rights, his privileges, his royal status. For them, stripping titles is justice, a necessary overdue correction. Others see a different picture. They view Harry with sympathy, a man seeking freedom, a husband protecting his family. He spoke his truth, they say, against a powerful, unyielding system. To them, removing his titles, it would be vindictive, cruel, an act of petty revenge, punishing him for his independence. Newspapers fuel the fire. Headlines scream for resolution. Some demand loyalty, others reform. Social media is a battleground. Fierce arguments erupt daily. Hashtags trend for both sides. The debate is passionate, personal. Section 4, Ghosts of Royal Past, History's Shadow. History offers few true parallels. Royal rifts are not unknown, but this situation feels unique. Edward VIII abdicated for love. He chose Wallis Simpson over the throne. He became Duke of Windsor. His HRH was for him alone, not for his wife, not for children. A compromise, a painful one. But he was not stripped entirely. The current crisis is different. Harry did not abdicate the throne. He was never close to it. He stepped back from duties, seeking a new life abroad. His departure was messy, public, filled with accusations and recriminations. This is not about succession. It's about conduct, about image, about the terms of royal membership. Consider other difficult royals. Princesses who strayed, princes who erred. Their titles were often debated in whispers behind closed doors, but rarely was action so public, so potentially final. Section 5, the final cut, Harry's path to an unknown future. Imagine Prince Harry without Prince, simply Harry Mountbatten Windsor, or perhaps Harry Sussex. What would this mean for him, for his identity, for his children Archie and Lilibet, their connection to the ancient lineage of kings? It is more than just a name. It is a heritage, a birthright now hanging by a thread. His journey has been extraordinary. From a boy prince, beloved, walking bravely behind his mother, to a soldier, a husband, a father, then an outspoken critic, an exile by choice or circumstance. Each step watched by millions, each decision scrutinized, analyzed. The emotional weight must be heavy, a burden carried across oceans. If the titles are removed, it will be a historic moment, a definitive break. Not just from royal duties, but from formal royal identity. The implications are far-reaching for his charitable work, his brand, his relationship with his family. Can wounds ever truly heal when such a public severance occurs? The story of Prince Harry. It is a drama of our times, a tale of family, duty, love, and the search for meaning. Whether he keeps his titles or loses them in the coming days, his path has already changed royalty. It has forced uncomfortable questions. The final act is yet to be written, but it will be significant forever.